Oh, dropping things. Let's see. Where are we here? Hey, I got a new sticker yesterday. I'm going to give it away today. Look at that. It's one of the things. I'll give it away with a small little painting, but messing up good clothes. Your good clothes since 1987. I thought that was funny. Got it at Cheap Joe's yesterday. It's been morning all night here. I read mooring. That's like a ship's deal, isn't it? Top of the morning to you. Hey. Miss Carla, hope you're well. All right, let me focus some cameras here because I'm one of these days I'm going to stay in my studio long enough to keep things set up. But I'm always preaching on that, but I never do it, right? All right, let me shuffle some things off to Buffalo as well. Here we go. Is that going to work? I think that's going to be good for what I got to do first thing this morning. Little piece of paper here. Take me a second to dig through some of this, so just give me a minute and we'll roll into, I'll say hello. Let's see, I'm looking for another shot here, just my desk. Let's see if I can get to it. I'm going to get rid of this. Maybe I'm not. Let's just go to the desk. There. Yeah. And let's label it desk. Wouldn't that be something? Is that going to work? Okay, there's a headshot. Maybe. Boom. This should be a picture-in-picture. No. You go, Roper. Well, I don't want it located. Not now. Okay, just get rid of this. Okay. Let's throw it in the trash. All right, I'm learning how to use my program for the first time. Let's try this. Desk. Here. But it's upside down, isn't it? Oh, for heaven's sakes. You'd think this is my first time making barbecue or something. Here we go. Let's see if we can turn this around. Dun, 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 dun. Camera. We want to go rotate. Ah, look at this. What's this? Boom. Boom. Ha ha ha. The man is so smart. Okay. Forgive me for just being off in the woods here this morning at the desk. Now let's try this. There's a headshot. Yes. No. Yes. Picture in picture will be when I get here. Boom. Okay. And this should be the desk. Ah! Voila. Okay. Hey, welcome to the show this morning. I'm Michael. Grandkids call me Roo, and you got to realize I'm still. You would think, can you believe I've been doing this for 4 years? But this is a new computer, and I have set some things up differently. And since this computer came in, I have been putting all the programs that I needed here and there, and it sounds like I'm making excuses. I'm just messed up. That's what I did, because we're going to talk about that today. Just mess up sometimes. So I messed up. The camera didn't work. This one didn't hook up the right way. There's a camera hanging over my head. You can probably see it right here. You see that? That's the lens of a nice Canon camera that's coming down on my desk. That should give you a fairly decent shot. Oh, what do you mean it's not showing up? Just made this work. Get out of here. Not now. What? Okay. Maybe I'm going to get rid of this picture here. No, it doesn't. Okay. All right. So it should give you a good shot of my desk this morning as I paint something. So since this music's over here in another 28 seconds, I will have a fresh cup of tea poured. And we'll dig into this. I want to say hello to some of you. It is, I believe it's March 22nd. Is that right? Could be I should look, but then what would be the point of that? It's the 23rd, so I wrote the wrong day down. All right, March 23rd, and welcome to Roodoodles Live. And so what I've been doing now, I have sort of claimed from the 22nd until the 28th to 29th of the month, the 4-year anniversary of Roodoodles coming live, streaming live. And then I was just all over the place, and it was going in and out, and it would stop, and I had cables that weren't working right. But I was trying to make, and I'm using all that, not as excuses, but to tell you, it's been the process of art. I have one world that lives on this flat surface down here that I'm touching now with my hands. It's on this board that I draw and I sketch and I add color and try and take color away, and then I sketch very wildly with pens and then go, I should have used the pencil so I could erase that. Nope, just plow through. And so it's been part of my style. It's the style that I wanted to have, that I thought I could move to. And now some of you will look, and I'm going to show you a couple paintings that I've done this week, or sketches or drawings, and you're going to say, is he changing his style? No, but I'll tell you what's happened. Because I've worked so hard, I think, of course he says it about himself, right? I'm talking about myself in third person now. Of course he's worked so hard. I have worked hard to do repetition and stay after things. And if you're following some of you on Roo's Crew, you'll see every now and then Tom will pop up something where he's in the middle of, his March Madness is painting 100 people a week. And so why don't I do that? Well, I'm doing 2,000 bees. Now today I'm up to bee number 1,450. And by the way, this bee right here, let me just show you what it is. This bee right here is painted on 300-pound Kilimanjaro paper. I mean, you can just about drive a nail with this piece of paper. I love it. I'm going to paint on it for you here in just a second to show you. But they're just some sample pieces that the fine folks behind the counter and all that helped me out through the store in Cheap Joe's yesterday just said, here, take some of this and enjoy it. And I have already. It's a little more awkward for me to paint on because it takes more water and it takes more patience to let the water flow and the paint flow. But it's good paper. It's difficult, more difficult than the 140-pound. But I'm going to give this painting away today, and it says, be quick, but don't hurry. And I wrote that. That was the little post that I did yesterday. Be quick and don't hurry. I've got this, and also have another little huge, tiny painting I'm going to do for you on some of this paper and let you see how it works. But this 300-pound gave me the idea of just slowing down and feeling free once again after many shows of doing what I do to mess up. Everything that I turn out here is not a winning piece of art. You know that from your own desk in your own shop, but that shouldn't stop you. If every time a golfer hit a bad ball, he quit, he would never play the game. I mean, you don't know why. I watch one golf tournament a year on television. I would watch it in person if I were there, and that's because for 12 years I lived in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida, which last week was the tournament there, the TPC, the Players Championship. It's on the famous 17th green, which is an island. And if you followed that, there were like 5 guys within 1 or 2 strokes of winning that $4.5 million purse. We've walked that course. I used to go out there on Sunday mornings and sing, and we would do a service on the 18th green. And so I was part of that whole thing for a while. I got to shoot video there. Well, no, that's not true. I worked with the camera guys. I ran errands for them. I was a young man then, and well, I wasn't that young. So I had to make a short story a long one. Well, it was a Tuesday. No, it was a Wednesday. The point is, I watched that tournament, and he could have tied it and gone into, Wyndham could have tied it and gone into sudden death or to a playoff. And the ball went in the cup and went around the cup and down in the cup and drank a cup. And I mean, it seemed like it was in slow-mo. It looks like it's just going to go around and around and drop in. It just shot out of the cup because he maybe hit it a little fast or whatever. And if he's going to quit golf over that, he's still going to go home with $1 million. Come on. Or more. But the point is, for him, it was to win. If to sit down and do a painting for you is to do a tremendous, beautiful painting every time, you may have missed what art's about. So we'll talk about that as I paint something this morning, and after I say hello to some of you, and I got to go back and find where all my hellos are. So thank you for being on the show this morning. Let me just plow through some names here because I want you to know that I'm glad that you're on, because since I've been doing this for 4 years, it really wasn't about showing you what a great artist I was. 4 years ago, there was a lot of things that I couldn't do that I can do now art-wise, and I'll prove that to you with a couple drawings today or paintings. The other thing is, my life has always been sort of wired by how I could help other people. I'm just wired that way. I think God has wired me that way. And so Carol and I are wired that way. And we really do. You know, one of our comments in Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle, which is the book that if some of you don't have, you can get it on Amazon. It's called Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle. And it's about 30 or 35 things that I said in the first 100 days of painting when I started in March of 2020. And it was things that I didn't just try and sit down every day and think, oh, what am I going to write to sort of be creative today? Or people will go, oh, that's cute, or that's lovely, or I should write that down. They were just things that I think some were old. And I even put this in the book of sort of where they came from. My mom or my dad or people around me said them, or I have stumbled through life. And, you know, my dad would always say, if you're hammering, son, here's the rule of hammering right here. Don't hit the pink nail. The first rule of hammering is don't hit the pink nail. So there were just little things like that. They were little idioms and little mantras and sayings and warts and foibles that I said growing up that I learned from making mistakes from. And so I started sharing those. That's what the book is about. Pat Brooks illustrated it out of Florida, and we still haven't met in person. And one of these days we probably will have a hot dog together because Jason and I were talking this week. That's what books do. Books don't make a lot of money, but they're a great way to push your art cause along if you want to go into it, and the investment. They're hard to do. I'm still working on one that I'm working on now for another 3 years. I've been working on this book 2.5 years now. Poems from the ponds, rhymes from the rivers, odes from the oceans. It's hard to do. And so you get it over here and you move it over here. It's like sometimes when people do a small piece of art. I got into this thinking that I was going to teach someone else how to stream. And then I started streaming, and I went those 100 days, and some of you have been riding along ever since. And for that, I'm grateful, because you really gave me what this was about in the first place during 2020. I kind of liked 2020. I didn't like the epic, the pandemic, the what happened to the world. I don't like that. Who would like sickness? But I really liked the quietness of just slowing down for a while. I didn't feel like I wasn't going anywhere, but no one else was either. And so what happened was it put me in a state of mind of I need to continue to be a maker and create. You came along as a community. And I'm going to say this, it's going to sound really cheesy, but I'm going to say it. You kind of rescued me. You kind of made me refocus. I had just gone through some job changes again as an old guy. It happens to old guys where they go, we think you're too old for that position. And they were excited that I said, well, you're firing me and you're 4 years older than me. So maybe we should turn the table here and I should fire you and stay in your position. That doesn't work real well. But I said it with tongue in cheek. And I'm not afraid to say what I believe, if I really do believe it. Not to just hurt other people, but just to say, let's get it out here and talk about it. And so that's kind of where this thing started. But you helped me refocus, and you helped me bring back to life something that I have read. And I went down a rabbit hole last night I'm going to tell you about as I paint. And here it is. It's always about people first. Connect with them. It's always about what comes out of here and through your head and your arm. I was working on a project this week. I showed you last week the scroll project. That was about what went on here, connected in here, comes back out through the arm, gets written down on, scribed onto something that people can see and go, whoa, you wrote that like you believe it. So I love telling stories on the show because I tell them like I believe them. And so I went down a hole last night, and I'm going to grab a piece of this 300-pound paper, just a small piece. Where is the piece? Right here somewhere. I'll find it. Trust me, I will. They gave me some yesterday, and son of a gun, I've already lost it, right? I'll find it. Don't worry. Don't worry. Be happy. There's a piece right there. Well, that's a little bigger piece than I had here with the B. There it is. And it's more of a natural white, so let's see what happens. All right. So just to throw you off base, and I started saying hello, but it didn't get far. All right, so here we go. Gene Anthalzer, hello. Denise Albright, always good to have you here. It's been morning all night. Pat Brooks, good morning. Love to have you on the show. Just talking about you. Patricia Brooks, you might see her name as. Miss Carla, thank you that you're glad you're here. Karen Binder-Bender. Marie Pikert, thank you for being on the show. Lori Stanley Handelmeyer, Henderson Beverly Schmidt from Greenville. Alice Durham. Donna Buckley. Saw where you're going to be taking an art thing at Cheap Joe's. I should just call ahead and say, could you just put a giant tube of Payne's Gray on her desk? I was at the Cheap Joe's yesterday in Charlotte, hung out with those people for about an hour, Carol and I. Painted a little lobster at the desk and gave it to them as I was trying some of this paper. He said, here, take some of this 300-pound with you. Andy McBean, thank you for being on the show. Jennifer Yentz, love to have you on the show today. Randall Taylor Craven, great to have you. Let's see. You guys are talking to each other. Valerie Prazy, love it. Bob, there he is, folks. Bob is on this morning from the finally snowy Minnesota. Oh, it snows up there, right? It's been raining here for 2 days. So, Dolores Bowen, Amy Weaver, Chris Young, welcome. Chris Whitaker, I think I said hi to you, Chris. Chris, if you noticed, a long time ago, Chris has always said, I love mechanical pencils. And there's a little engineering in there somewhere. Look at her drawings, her birds, her flowers, the little things that she's doing with those. Started with tinies, and now she's got these great little sketches going with pencil that are so good. They're so good. Camp there for a while longer, Chris, because you're knocking it out. I think they're fantastic. They're connecting to people really well. Maggie Carnahan, glad you're on the show. From Culpeper, Linda Lightning, like lightning, but it's Schlick Lightning. Marlena Davis, Bob 33, yes, he's on the show. Kimberly Fox, glad to have you back on the show. Glad you're here. All right. Michelle Stafford, I'm a new viewer, looking forward to watching, learning, and having fun. Michelle, the only thing you'll need is a little notepad, because sometimes you'll go, what did that guy say, and was that really true? So make a note of it, and then here's what you do. Ask me a question. I don't see them all, but every now and then through the show, I'll go up and find, just mark it QQQ or QQ. I'll go ahead and put that in the search window, and any questions will pop up. So if you have a question like, what did you just do? Because I'm going to throw you a curveball today. Many of you know that I use, and by the way, I put this on my watercolors today. There it is. Whoever's going to win the bee is going to win one of these little stickers too. Messing up your good clothes since 1987. I put it over my Cheap Joe sticker, but I got another one of those here. This is my cast iron palette, and here we go. So, but I'm going to throw you a curve, and here's the curve I'm going to throw you. I'm going to grab some they're Faber-Castell. They're not very expensive, but they're just nice little watercolor pencils. And I'm going to show you how fast it is, how easy it is to do something I've been working on. Some of you probably know I've been working on some landscapes. I've been working on, why? Well, because I've got a summer that's got some, and I've got a spring, a short spring trip, but I have a summer trip that's a little longer trip. That's some places I've never been before, and it's the national parks. And I'm going to some national parks, Lord willing, and everything works out. I'm going to be out in the Grand Tetons for a couple of days. And then I'm going down into Fraser, Colorado. And anyway, I've never been to Jackson Hole. And my wife was to be a forest park ranger in Jackson Hole. And then she married me and went in a different direction into camping. And so she's never been. And so we're going to go out there. We're taking a granddaughter with us who we're dropping off at a summer camp that's in Fraser, Colorado. And so I'm going to take one of my concertina art journals. You know what I do with these, right? Got all these pages in them. There it is right there. You can see me unrolling it over there. I think you can see me unrolling it right here. And I'm going to do a travel journal, and I'm going to have to get a little better at some landscape. And so I've just been working on some of that. And so here we go. Let me do a little landscape with watercolor pencils and show you how I use these. Somebody asked me, hey, do you ever use color pencils? And I go, no, because they just are like crayons. But these have a pigmented center. They're watercolor pencils. And so I'm just going to do a little piece with those and show you how fast this came to fruition, that I did something last night. I just want a pen. some kind of simple pen, maybe an 05 Pentel Inner Gel. Here's one right here. I think this one might be brand new. Let's see. Nope. Okay, this one. All right, let's see if this one writes. Yeah, it's good that it's new and it writes. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a little landscape. And what I'm going to do before I do that is I'm going to put a little tape on this card because it's a little long. Remember what you do with tape. You just put a little lint on it first. I'm going to drip it on my white shirt there all the way from the Goodwill. Drop a little on here like this. I'm going to put on a piece of music here in just a second. And I'm going to show you how I do a quick little landscape. This is not masking tape. It's not blue. If you want to use masking tape, it sticks a little more than art tape. So you probably will want to do this on Levi's or jeans or on a sweater or something like that. Why do I do this? Because sometimes the starch surface of watercolor paper, if the paint is too strong, will peel the edge off. And I don't think you want that to happen. So for me, I'm just picking up some lint off of my shirt here by putting it on a couple times, just taking some of the adhesive off the tape, or actually it's just putting lint on the tape. And I just want to put that on there like that. There we go. And I'm not going to do the top just because I'm different. But I'm going to come in right here, and I'm just going to create a little bit of, if you were an architect, these would be the shrubbery that you would see in architecture. I'm just going to come down like that and go up. Can you see what I'm doing there? He has a little line. I don't know if I'm getting closer or not. Let's see if I'm getting any closer at all. Let's focus on that pin right there. There, that's a pretty good focus. Okay, you can see that little line right there. So it comes down, and then let's bring this little one by side right here, and then it kind of come in like this, and then we'll put some rocks in there in a minute, and then I think what I want to do is I want to put a little sprig tree right here that's just kind of growing sideways, and maybe it's going out like that, and here. I drew some birch trees the other day. And the reason I'm doing these little landscapes is because I know out west in some places I'm going to have to draw a couple aspen trees. And they remind me of the spruce tree, the birch tree. And so I'm just putting these little cuts out. And I'll come down and just do some of that. So there we go. That's a little tree there. And maybe just a little shrub bush over here. It's like it's a little pine that's starting up, but it hasn't grown large yet. So this is not a big scene. This is not a great mountain scene. This is just, here I'm going to do something really funky right here. I'm just going to put a little hole in there. That's the rabbit hole that I've been down this morning. So that's kind of where I'm going to go there. So, all right. So let me show you how I just take this. This would be, if I were doing an architectural rendering, I could do some little shrubbery. So that's all I've done. I've let my pen just sort of wobble just a little bit here. But I want to show you what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to come in and I'm going to grab some, and I don't particularly, these are not my favorite colors, but this is just what's in the box. This is a 12 pack of watercolor pencils, and they look better here than they do here. These are made in Germany though, and I'm just going to come in and I'm just going to put a little bit of greenery right in here just like this. I'm not trying to color it like crayons, and I'm not trying to get too rambunctious with it yet. I'm just putting a little bit here, just like so. And now I'm going to show you how I want to use that. I want to come in and I want to grab a brush, and I'm going to grab I want something that will carry a little bit more water. What's this? This is a number 4. Here's a little number 4 with some clean water, and let's put on a little music here just for fun. What's Cody playing today? Oh, that's nice. All right, here we go. Now I'm just letting that watercolor pencil come alive. If those of you, I had someone say, if you ever use those, how do I use them? Do I paint with them? Do I color with them? What do you do? And look, I'm just letting it come in like that. Look how light and beautiful that is. I don't particularly like this. What is this? Emerald green? I'm not a real emerald green fan, but it's in there, so I'm going to put a little just right in here like this. I think there's a better color than that. Do I have another watercolor pencil anywhere here? Probably not. That's okay. That's all right. Let's see. Must have taken one out of there somewhere. All right. So let's do this. Let's grab a little bit of this light brown, and let's go in here on top of that. You're going like, what? Did he just put brown on top of that? And let's take a little bit of black, and let's put some black on top of that. What? All right. And then something's itching my eye, so I've got to scratch that because I can't see. And then let's go back to a little bit more of this. Now I'm going to do something really funky here. I'm going to take my water. Let's draw back on this picture just a little bit here. Can we do that? Can we get back out just a smidge? Here we go. Let's get another focus on this. All right, so now I'm going to just wet my pencil, just barely stick it down in there. And now I have this loose paint on the end of my pencil. See that? Okay. And then I'm going to go with my brush and I'm going to break some of that black up. And that was the pencil that I put in that was black. Okay. And I need a little more brown in there, I think, just to get some dirt. Does this take a little longer? Sometimes it does, but that's okay, because I could have probably done this in one swoop with my other brush, but I just want you to see how I sort of get the look that I'm after by doing this like this. Come back in with a little dark in there, and then a little more green in there, just right in here like this. And then let's just go in here and do some of leaves on this tree, and then just come in here and around this. And so what I do here is that, look, my pencil is real erratic, and some of you will try to do this, and you'll try to do this. You're getting darker spots than you need. Don't worry about that. Just kind of come in here and let it be, and then keep a brush and just put your brush. Think like you're painting. Wow. Don't think like you're painting the house. This is not painting the bathroom wall. This is not how people teach you brush strokes. Just come in there and punch this paint around like this and just let it live and come alive. And if it falls out here and gets kind of irregular, let it do so. Don't sweat it. I like a little yellow in this tree, because some leaves are, not all leaves are green. Talk to my friend Chip. What color are the leaves on the trees when you're coming down the Shenandoah Valley? Oh, they're green. Well, that's at 70 miles an hour. What color are they when you slow down to 15 miles an hour? Oh my gosh, there's all kinds of colors in there. And so let's just go back and grab a little more of this. I like that music. And we'll come in like this, and then I might just bring in some, pull some in here. A little wet in here, just touch it with a little bit. Now I'm just using my pencils as I would my palette. So I'm using these very much like I would use my normal palette. I'm just reaching over and I'm grabbing and I'm mixing on the paper. I'm not trying to have my paint perfectly before I go in anywhere. Why do we think that we have to? Remember, you're not painting still like you're painting oil or acrylic, where you have to mix everything and match it just perfectly and bring it in. You're changing it on the fly because you're just putting paint over paint. Why not? Okay, now what I want to do is bring in a pen. Let's see what I've got in my pocket here. Yes, I have pens in my pocket. Why wouldn't I, right? Okay, there's a nice little preppy pen. And I'm just going to go in here and just add a little bit of color in this little rabbit hole right there. This is called going down the rabbit hole, and that's where this whole project's been. Now I want to grab my other, where's my pen tail? Here it is. I want to go back in here and I want to build some shrubbery inside this shrubbery bank here, just like this. Okay? Because it was too store-bought. I just picked it up off the shelf at some big box store. That's not what I'm after here. I'm after a little, and then I want to just bring some shrubbery brushes out the top of that, just like that. I want to rough it up a little bit. And it's going to change a little bit more. So there's my, see, it's coming together, my little landscape. This is now I'm going to really change it on you here. I'm going to take it in and I'm going to go grab a little bit of water, and I'm going to come in right here underneath the tree and across here, and I'm going to create a little bit of a sunset. And I see some green in this. I see some green in this, my brush, but I'm going to just grab a little bit of, is this an orange? What color is this? This is cadmium orange, dark cadmium orange. All right, so I'm going to grab some of this and just start to bring it in like this on top of that water. And just bring it like this. And now I'm going to stop here in just a second when I think I have enough. Like I think that's enough. And then I'm going to grab my brush, and then I'm going to start just wetting that like crazy. Here's the thing where 300-pound paper will help you. You're throwing a lot of water at this paper, and it's going to be able to take it. It's not warping. It's not bouncing out. It's not going anywhere. It's just taking it, and it's pretty cool. So you see what I'm doing. I'm just putting a little bit of sunrise in behind this. This reminded me of the painting I did the other day. And by the way, this looks kind of crude, but I'm just going to tell you something. This is going to work in a landscape painting in my journal, and that's where all this is going for me. I'm heading toward my journal, making this work. Because I've got to stop and take a little aerial view of it. I want to take a photo where I am, but I want to start marking it out in my journal as I go, and then let that happen. And so there's a little idea of how. Now, could I combine watercolors with this? You betcha I could. Like, I'm going to throw a little bit of wet. I'm going to let that soak just for a little bit. I'm going to throw a little bit of orange in here, like the sunshine's still up there some. And that's also going to make, guess what it's going to do? It's going to make this front of this a little, where's my pen? I'm going to use my pen now for some more dark. It's going to make the front of this a little darker, because when you have that much light behind it, the tree and all the parts of it are just going to look a little bit darker. All right, so this will give you an idea of what happens here when you, and I'm just toying with this. Hey, they said play with it. I said, I'll play with it on the show. So here we go. But I do like this little rabbit hole right here, because it's easy for me to go down a rabbit hole. And this is very much like my Christmas trees that I paint, my trees on the island that I paint. And I'm going to need a little bit of brown and dirt down here to just kind of come in like this. Maybe that's the trail. Maybe a little green in that also, just for some color down here. And then let's get a bigger brush. Let's go for this is a number 6. Yeah, get a little 6 in here and just wet this whole thing and just let it just blow down a little farther. And we should put a little blue in the sky right there. Just drag a little of that watercolor over. And I'm trying not to have the little pencil ripples, so that's why you see me play a little more water in there. You got to be real careful that you don't have a mark that looks like, to me, a crayon. I don't want to think that I colored it. Okay, Carol's the crayon fan. I'm not. Now, that'll give you an idea of what you could do with some watercolor pencils, and it's not that bad actually. So, Tom, good morning to you, man. Snowbound coast of Maine. Jason Nichols, O'Dane just woke up. Good morning. Thank the Lord for the rain in Potomac. Yeah, it's been pouring here. Thanks for doing this for us for 4 years. Laura Long, you are so, thank you guys for being on the show. Trish Brown, welcome. Jennifer Cayley, Northeastern Ohio. I think it's a chicken you're holding on your lap there. That's a funny picture. Amazing gray color expert. Now that's my size of paper. I love painting on that size. Yeah, this piece of paper is only 4 by 7 inches, and so. But now I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to add a little more green in here, just right in here. I'm just going to punch this up just a little bit. Remember, I was going toward a little black, but I like now. I'm standing closer to it, and this is where you got to trust the sunlight. You got to go out there and say, what is the sunshine doing here today, and where am I seeing it most, and where am I not? And that's going to be the part that you're going to have to always toy with. Where's the light? What's this little hole right here? That's the rabbit hole. And so that's where you go down when you go down the rabbit hole. It's not a bad little landscape. And so now what happens if I pull off this paper is, this tape, I mean, look at this. Now I have this little faded landscape, which looks great, which looks really great when it's framed and in a journal, even better in a journal. And so I just love that. And what I might want to do here, because I just like to break the rules, is I might like to just grab some green and just let it, what's this? Come down off a corner. Are you serious? Yeah, after all that tape you spent on there? Yeah, because I just don't like to be put in a box. So there you go. Now I got this hard line here, and I got this trail coming down here, and I've got this little trail that comes down. So that's the rabbit hole right there, and it's just now what I didn't do in there is maybe put in some rocks, and I might do those with my fountain pen just so you can see some dark spots up here like this. All right, that one's too wet to paint. We'll see if this one will drop some on there a little bit. It's really holding a lot of water because I poured a lot of water to this 300-pound paper. So if you're going to deal with that paper, you're going to have to learn how to deal with it in a pretty good fashion. I'm going to put some rocks right here because I think this little hole comes in around some rocks, and so those rocks should be anywhere from gray to brown to orange, depending on where you are in the country. Clay bank right here, maybe just a little bank where this is dug in, and it's got a little round hole. So there you go. All right, I'm gonna quit while I'm ahead, and it's already 9:30 anyway. So I spent quite a bit of time on that, but I want you to see what it's like. And I've done another one. Okay, it's not where the rabbit goes, but it's where the groundhog goes. I'm gonna show you. I'll show it to you later when this one dries a little bit. I want you to see what it's going to do once it dries. And we'll come in here with just a little more orange because I want that orange to pop. You see what's happening to it now? Look how strong that's going in. Some of the water's dying down. Let's get a little thinner brush again and come in here and just make this orange pop just a little bit by adding a tad more water to it. I like that purple where it ties in there, huh? Okay, so I created this little meadow that I kind of like. And I think what it should have is I think it should just have some other weeds that come up around here like this. Now I'm just playing. Look at that, huh? Not too shabby. Okay. All right, hey, let me draw a name and give away a painting today here. Man, Laura Ann, thanks for being on. Gosh, a lot of people on the show today. Thank you all so for being here. Community rescued a lot of us during that time. Thanks, Denise. It certainly rescued me, so I appreciate it. Watching you help me during the pandemic, meet a lot of friends virtually. How fun is that, huh? And that was the whole point. Congrats on 4 years. It's been a year since we met at Montreat. Wow. And the art class is happening up there this weekend, as a matter of fact. I think they probably come in maybe today or Sunday, something like that. So people are going to be gathering for that. And I got a text from Phoebe Lee this morning from Yasatoma, and she's in New Orleans with Karen. Some of you know they've gone down for the big art event that they do there. Kind of fun. Let me put these back up. I generally have these kind of close to here. I don't always carry these on the road. I'm just not. It's not like I'm a watercolor pencil aficionado or whatever you call those people. I just don't go that far, but I like having them. Sometimes if I'm working on fishing flies, I'll do a little streak, but I also have another thing that I showed you last week, the little sharpened end of a paintbrush handle that I do my little pieces with. And I'm doing a lot of fishing flies right now, and those are pretty simple. I'm doing some for Carol and her friends. They're getting ready to head off to Whitefish, Montana to fly fish. So I'm going to do, here's one we are called fish, and I just make these up. I don't try to go paint other people's flies like this and this. And I don't make fun of their flies. I just sort of paint my own ones. This is called Fish On. There's a nice little one. This is called the little red-headed yellow wingtip shoehorn. This is called, it's black and white. You're either fishing or you're thinking about it. There you go. That's a little fishing fly. This is called the lion's share. Look at him. He reminded me a little bit of a lion. And I've done this with a swish of yellow. And then while that yellow is still wet, I'll take the end of my very Kakuno pen, the little orange Kakuno. Where the heck is my Kakuno pen? And I'll just touch it with the point of my fountain tip, and those little feather dimples appear. Here's one that doesn't have a name. Here. Aha! There you are. I could not find this seahorse anywhere. I painted that. I had these in Florida. That makes perfect sense now. Son of a gun, get over here. All right, and here's one saying, I may not catch anything, but man, I look great. And these are painted on my journal paper, which is a little thinner. You would consider it almost a, so I've got quite a few more of these to do. These, of course, I'm keeping for now because I've got a project for one of them. But this is the kind of style that I love painting that takes me just a few minutes. And this is one of my favorite feathers right here. This is little swish of Payne's Gray. And for me, that's a small brush or it's a #1 Yasutoma brush. And so I'll just grab a very thin Yasutoma brush, even like this. And I'll dip it in my paint and I'll just make a one swish like that. And I'll get that little feather look. That's the only way I know to do that. If I try to get in here real tight and paint these feathers, I'll mess up. So learn from our Asian art friends who go, and then they're done. And it's just fabulous what they tend to do. So there's some fishing flies. I should paint one of those, probably have time to paint one of those and give one of those away this morning. So first thing I'm going to do is draw a, hey, Sue Kane, glad you're on the show this morning. First thing I'm going to do right now is just draw a name. So know how I do that, right? Holy smokes, there's a lot of comments. Thank you. So here's what I'm going to do. Becky Bailey, I just saw your name down near the list of these comments. Somehow you're always in the top 3. Love the seahorse. Thanks, Barbara. Love the fly fishing paintings. QQQ. Have you ever tried a silver point pencil? Yes, I have a silver point pencil. Now, don't think it's a pencil. Think it's a silver point. And so what you're doing, is you're just actually transferring the silver. They make a copper one too. You're actually transferring that off. Maybe you saw Karen. Karen uses this quite a bit. It doesn't work as well on regular watercolor paper, and it will work on a hot press. It works better with a mineral paper. But if you're into Chris might like silver point to do some of the bird drawings that you do. Sometimes you get this really beautiful thing. I'm still learning pen and ink, and let me show you what I'm talking about. Here, take a look at this. I'm learning. So Jason and I have been talking, and he loves sketching. You never mess up, just a happy accident. Less on the paint is best, Laurianne. You're always right there. You can always add more. Here we go. This is... where are those paintings? Here's one. A few weeks ago, I did this little scene of Paris. Here it is right here. And it's just really a crude little drawing of a bridge. And is the light right? Probably not. This bridge would probably be a whole lot darker, but I wanted to see it as close as I was, and I just wanted the orange and yellow to go behind it. So I kind of like what it is. In fact, this is pretty big and bright right now, and it probably should not come across that bright to you, but it does. It's pretty bright. Okay, but let me show you what I did this week. The woman who bought this wanted something from Italy as well, and I said, well, I've never been to Italy, but my wife has, and I said, what would be the thing that would be most recognizable in Italy? And she said, well, this bridge, or not this bridge, but she named the bridge, or the Duomo, the big church there, the dome, which has such a great history. And I do know the history. I don't know the history, but I've read the story of how it came to be and how so many architects tried to figure out how to do the dome. So I went to look for a royalty-free vector. If you don't know what a vector file is a scapulated PostScript file. It's an EPS file. It's not a JPEG. It's not a PDF. It's not a you can turn it. It's not a PNG. You can turn a JPEG into one if you have some fancy tools. It's a file that's been set up as kind of a clip art file. So if you take it tiny or if you take it large, it's not going to lose any of its pixels. You will know this someday if you're working on logos or things like that. I found one on my online that said royalty-free. It said a royalty-free vector. Oh, here it is, right here. I'm just going to go to my desk and show it to you. Oh, what do you mean not found, you goofball? There it is, right? No, this is not working right today. There we go. Okay, there it is. See this little vector file right here? There it is right there. That's the Duomo with the rest of the castle. So I just decided, nah, Okay, so that's it. So I use that. It says royalty free. So it's just been an artist that put it in, or it could have been computer generated. Who knows? But I decided I would draw that. And let me show you what I came up with. I think I have the original here, but where is it? Let's see. It's here. There. Okay, kind of crude, but it gives you the idea of what it looks like to me. And so I did one of these, and I colored one, and then I actually I just got in there with a small pen and ink. And you see my trees haven't changed, but there's little storybook trees that are sometimes over there. So that gives you a little idea of what it goes. Here it is in its size. So you can see I went from my phone to this just by going, okay. And I started at the top, and I just started working down. And I just quit when I was done. And so there's a little pen and ink that, I don't know why they call it pen and ink. If you had a pen, it would have to have ink in it, wouldn't it? All right. So that gives you an idea. Why am I changing that? Because I'm going to travel, I'm going to sketch, and I want to do better landscapes, and I want to do better drawings of buildings where I am. And so that's the kind of concept of what I'm still trying to learn. And that's why I push you guys daily into more drawings. Sometimes my drawings are just crude, and they're like this one. Sometimes they're just off-kiltered like this one. And so I push all the time. These will never leave my studio here. They don't need to go anywhere. They're just for me to look at and go, how would I do that differently? They are all sorts of little pieces that I put together, and just like this practice piece, which I'm going to give away. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to give away a bee and a sticker right now, and so I'm going to just scroll this without looking. You know what I do? All the names that the people have commented, I scroll up and down, up and down, up and down. Where's my bee? Man, Lordy. I'd be dangerous, wouldn't I? I'd be dangerous. Did you get it? Okay, somewhere around here I have a honeybee. Oh, there he is. All right, I'm going to give that bee away, and here he goes right here. All right, so I'm just scrolling up and down, and what I do on this is that I don't look. I just, out of the corner of my eye, I can see the screen is moving. I have a little window, and I'm just letting it scroll, and I'll just scroll it up, scroll it down. I'll forget where it is, and then I'm going to choose 3 names out of that come up on the scroll, and I'll throw out the top one, bottom one. I'll take the middle one, and then you send me an email at roodoodles@gmail.com, and I'm going to send you this bee. Okay, here we go. So boom, boom, up, down, up, down, up, down. Let it roll, let it slide, let it roll, let it slide, and stop and look. Okay, so I've got the top number says this: Lydia, looks like today might be the day I break out those watercolor pencils. Denise Albright said that. Sorry, Denise, you don't get this B. You're a good B painter anyway. And Karen Binder, you're at the bottom of the list, says, morning, Donna, Sel Barton, happy Saturday. And Jean Jimerson Anthalzer says, yes, it's raining here in North Carolina where I live. Can't wait for it to clear up and warm up. So that's the winner of the B. And it says, be quick, but don't hurry. So part of this drawing that I showed you was being quick, but don't hurry. You got to kind of get in there if you're using watercolor pencils. Use them like you've learned to use your watercolor. You're not coloring just because it's a pencil. They're not colored pencils. Well, they are, but they're watercolor pencils. They have a fluid paint stick in the middle once it's wet. Okay, so Gene, if you'll send me an email at that address right there. Send it. Roodoodles@gmail.com. That's Ernest T. Bass right there. Roodoodles@gmail.com. Send me a note and say, hey, I won the B. Send me your address and I'll ship it to you. Okay. Thanks for showing us watercolor pencils, Marlena. I have a set, never knew what to do with them. There you go. I get asked that all the time. People go, I don't understand how to use watercolor pencils. Why are they different than colored pencils? Because they're watercolor pencils. And by the way, you can use them 2 different ways. You can use them as watercolor. You can use them to color with and then blend in. But if you really get in there and do it hard, you're going to be hard to get rid of the line. They paint differently on hot pressed paper, and I should have shown you that too. But I didn't, did I? No. Here's a piece of hot press right here. We've got some hot press laying here. Here's a little hot press right here. This is Fluid 100. It's 100% cotton, but it is hot press. This is the paper that you'll probably see. It's either this or Fabriano hot press that you'll see Karen paint on all the time. My biggest problem is keeping up with the product here. So in this case, give you an idea of what this is. If I were to do a little brown pencil here, well, I'll just do it with a pen first so you can get an idea of where I'm headed with this. Okay, let's let that go down. And then let's do it here like this. Oh, you're not seeing it, are you? I'm the worst. Okay, here we go. All right, here we go. Now what I'm going to do first, I'm just going to draw the little fly. There's the little fishing fly right there. And then I'm just going to draw the thread that wraps on the thread. See, I've tied some flies, so I know that this thread sometimes crosses, sometimes you want to wind it on, sometimes it's bigger, and then it goes down smaller, and then it kind of makes a bump, and then it just depends on the fly you're building. And then I'm going to just come out and let those just fly out there like that. Get it? Let those fly out there. Let's put some hair down here like this. Maybe I want to put some of those little whoop-de-doo feathers on it. So I'm just going to do some little chevrons here. You know what a chevron is? There's a chevron right there, just a little chevron. Let that chevron go back like this. Just with I'm using a Lamy fine point. Just go back like that. And I might put one more right here coming across. Look at this one. Need some fishing music here, but I don't have any on this one. Okay, there we go. And then put a few pieces of this in here like this. And then maybe just darken that up in the middle a little bit, because that's going to turn colors here in just a second. Put a little ring here. A little fly on that. Okay, so my fly's coming together. I'm going to grab some watercolor pencils. Watch this. I'm just going to grab this one, and I'm going to put a couple little orange stripes in here, just with that. Now, in a second, I'm going to grab... I'm going to show you how I'm going to make, look at that. I just did it with this pencil. Whoa! Maybe I do like these a little better for this. I don't know. I'll find out in a second. Put the lid back on this. I'm going to wet these just very carefully right here on the tail end. Watch this. I'm just going to drag this water right over this watercolor pencil that I just put on there. Okay, I put this pencil stroke on. I didn't put any wobbles in it. I'm dragging this over. Now I'm going to take my pen. I'm going to let that dry for just a second. I'm going to try it. Yeah, I'm going to let it dry for just a second. And so, remind myself here before... this is like fishing music here. Now, I want a little of that yellow. Where did it go? Right here. And I'm going to wet my pencil here. I'm putting it in my water up here just for a second. I'm going to come in and just go in between here with a little watercolor. Just using it as a tiny brush point, like if I were pulling watercolor out of my palette. I'm just using it like that. Okay? All right. Still a little wet. Okay, so I'm just going to give it another minute. And we'll come in here and we'll go around with this. Just give this a little bit of a shadow. I'm going to put a little, where's a little orange head on this bug? There he is right there. There he is. And then I'm going to put a little bit of orange down through his body. I like a little brown in there. Where did that beautiful brown go? Right here. Okay. And then I'm going to grab my pen. Let's see if this one will do it. Look, I'm just dropping these little pen marks. Can you see what I'm doing? Dropping these little pen marks in here like this. Oh, look at that. It's giving that a little feather look. Isn't that crazy? And you're thinking, no way did that happen. See, I'm being quick, but I'm not hurrying. I know the process that I'm trying to work toward. And so what I'm doing is I'm just working toward this in a very simple way. Now I'm touching this point of this pen very lightly. And this is, remember, this is hot pressed paper. And how do I know it's hot pressed paper? Because of how it's so smooth. It's like I ironed my shirt. I'm going to need a little bit of blue from somewhere here. I should probably just get a little bit here and put it in just like this. Maybe a little splotch going up there. I'm just going to let this be very one-sided, like it's coming up out of the water. So we're just going to do a little splatter there, a little splatter here, a little more water splatter. And now one more little part right here. And I'm just going to blow that across and blow that across like that. And I think I'm done with that fly. It gives you an idea. I don't need to do any more than that, really. Except I do. I need to add a little yellow right here and here, just to balance this off. And we'll call him the yellow-bellied something. Okay, so there it is. So there's another idea of how to use those pencils sparingly. Don't try and color your artwork with them. Try and use them as little accents and then just put it together slowly. There's 12 colors in here, and so far I've used 7 of them. Okay. Remember, I started all my painting. If you go, and by the way, hey, I got a great surprise yesterday when I went to Trader Joe's. The new catalog is out. There it is right here. I love this. The new catalog is out. Cheap Joe's Art Stuff. Some of you already may have it, but there's a little tribute to Joe Miller in there. And so they said, hey, Roo, we think you're on page 52. And they're right. There it is right there. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. And this is still, yesterday I picked up some turquoise, Terry Tardy turquoise, and I had plenty of red. I didn't need any gamboge, but I needed some French gray. So I picked up 2 of those 6 colors that I use right there. Still use a small palette pan. They knew that. And I felt honored yesterday that one of the people behind the counter pulled out a one size bigger Altoid box and went like this. And she goes, hey, Rude. I went, you're doing it. She said, I love it. I keep it in my pocket every day, and it makes me go sketch more and more and more. I love it. All right. So, all right. That gives you an idea of what I did yesterday while I was at Cheap Joe's. I gave away the bee. I'm going to give away this little faded landscape painting that's called Down the Rabbit Hole. Roodoodles 24, and this is on 300-pound Kilimanjaro. Okay. I'm going to hit this one more time with a little bit of orange in just a second, just to bring that orange in. And I'm also going to go back in here and just create a little more brush inside this and darken up the edge side of that hole, just like that. So it just looks like that rabbit is going to run in there any minute. Look, it's not done till you say it's done. I will visit. You know what my, well, I've actually done this one time, but I didn't do it at their house, but I did it at an office. I went in and a person had one of my watercolor drawings there in their office, and it wasn't framed. It was just pinned to a board, which I love. I just love the fact that it's like, it's an inexpensive watercolor. It's an original. And I went, hey, let me see that for a second. And he went, what are you going to do? And I said, I always wanted to make this tree a little greener. And so I just took out my little pad and I just painted it. And they go, what are you doing? I go, it was mine in the first place. Let me just touch it up. Watercolor is never done until you say it's done. And I love that concept, okay? So I'm going to give this little painting away, and we're going to do the same thing, just draw some names this morning. I haven't done this in a while, so stay with me for another couple minutes, and I'll give away some paintings. You're welcome on the watercolor pencil piece. Let me see if there's any more questions I need to address. Whoops, put that in the wrong place. Let's go to search. Boom, boom, boom. Biggest lesson learned during your 4 years of live stream shows? Don't panic, Jason. Don't panic. My voice sounds like I'm in a hurry, but I just talk fast because I'm a storyteller and things fly in my brain. In fact, I'm holding back a lot of stuff just because I'm so cotton picking confusing. I've learned this. People are always more important than art. Connection is everything. I thank you for connecting with me. I thank you for connecting with each other. I think the communities that have grown from this show may be better than any art that I'll ever do. And some of them I don't even know about, and I don't need to know about. They just happened organically. And I think that's the magic of art. You are willing to just be real. And I have gone down, the reason I painted a rabbit hole this morning is because I've gone down a rabbit hole in the last 24 hours, sending someone some messages that Charlie Mackesy had to say. And when he was a young man, just messed up in life, he says. He actually met the royal family, and he tells a story about meeting the queen. And he's walking down the hallway looking at all this art, and he said, I think I was probably drunk. I mean, the man's life has just turned completely upside down now. And he was walking down this hallway, and he said, I saw this little person at the end of the hallway, and I kept walking toward her, or toward this person, and I realized, it's the Queen Mother. And she said, hi. And he said, hi. She said, how are you? And he said, I think I've messed up. He said, because I broke a rule that I'm not supposed to speak to royalty families, but I spoke to your daughter and I probably insulted her, and she backed off. And he said, so I've messed up. And she said, Charlie. She asked him his name. He said, Charlie. And she said, Charlie, we all mess up, and it's okay when we mess up. And she said, what do you do? And he said, I draw. And she said, that is brave. Wow. And he said, that comment changed who I am as thinking like an artist, as being an artist. I listened to this and I realized that I'd never heard any of this message before or anything. And I realized that I'm sending him a note. Carol follows him on Instagram and he's responded back. He's so personable now. And he speaks at a church in London quite often, a church of Nicky Gumbel. And he talks about how we don't have to be good. We just have to try. And so if it's okay to make a mess of a painting and throw it in the bin, as he calls it. And I'm going like, I've always said that. And it's one of the things that I live by, but I've never heard anybody else really lead to it, because and I've always noticed that there's a gap between kids who say they're artists and then when we really get involved in art. And unfortunately, sometimes it's when we're in our 60s or 70s or 80s. How unfortunate. Now we can't go back, but milk it now for all it's worth. And he said, I want to fill in that gap. And that's what I want to do. I want you to be the people who fill in that gap, to go help younger kids say, quit worrying about what other people think about it and just have fun with it. They go, well, and Chip does this to me sometimes, my friend Chip. He'll say, hey, tell me what I did wrong with this. And I go, no, I really can't tell you. I can see some things that I might change, but then I might not for a certain reason that you don't know about as the viewer. And it's really a fascinating thing to say, I really can't critique your art. I can just say, do you love it? Then give it away to somebody or sell it to somebody. Okay, that's what I can do. And so I've been down this rabbit hole, and I'm going to stay down it another day or two. And the man who wrote, the book, The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse, it wasn't until late in his life that he wrote that, and dips a pen in ink and just takes his time and draws. And so that's why watercolor pencils are handy sometimes if you can't take paint with you. I take paint with me every day, and I take a brush with me every day, and I take paper with me every day. And so when the folks at Cheap Joe's yesterday started giving me pieces of 300 pound, just that they've had to cut for people, and they just go like, block it square, put it in a box. Here, take some samples. I'm going like, you bet I am. Because tomorrow, if I go to brunch tomorrow and I sit at the bar at Bricktops, have my chicken and waffles, I'll paint a couple paintings on this, and I'll give it to some people. And Carol and I met, I got to tell you one more story if you got time. Carol and I met a young artist yesterday, and we met her a month and a half ago at a little place called Pinky's in Charlotte. Look it up. Guy Fiat, he's been there a couple times. And so we went because it said, ready for this? My wife, who is such a beautiful chef, a beautiful person, but a beautiful chef, she cooks so well. In fact, she's fixing chicken salad dipped in pecans and sandwiches for a baby shower today. And so we made the salad last night. But she said, look, I said, there's Pinky's. There's one by the Cheap Joe's. And she said, we got to stop on the way back. And I said, don't tell me that Yaya wants a Viking corn dog. I mean, this big old Nathan's corn dog that's double dipped in this batter. She goes, I do. So we had a salad, but we had a corn dog. And we laughed. And the young lady who I met, and I painted a little painting for a month and a half ago, came up and she said, I wanted to come and speak. And I said, thank you. Are you? And she said, yes, I have pens and I'm learning my calligraphy. And I said, have you turned it into sketches yet? And she said, I'm thinking about it. And I said, do you have a Yasutoma brush? I don't have one with me, or I'd give it to you. And she said, no, seriously. And I said, here's 2 things I want you to buy. And I gave her a piece of my card, and one of these, and I wrote on it, buy this ink, buy this brush, and here's some money to go buy it with. And tell them you bumped into Rue. I'm just up the street. And she left there, and you thought that I'd given her a new car. And I said, and she says, I'm not going to stop. And that's what I want people to get into this world and not stop, okay? So, Picture, QQC Picture is website. Ever try Silver Point pencil? Yes. Can't see you? Yep. Never mind, can see you. Okay, yeah. I knew you guys were noticing that because... Okay, so here we go. Up and down. It's a little past 10, but I'm going to draw a winner of this little picture here. My gosh, there's a lot of comments. Thank you so much for all those. Here we go. Goosebumps, somebody said. What's that for? Thanks for sharing this story. Hey, the stories are supposed to be what you come up with, okay? If I've inspired you at all, go find those stories in your life. Give your art away and sell your art, for heaven's sakes, too. Don't feel bad about selling your art, but give some away, too. It's marketing what you do. People want to put your piece on the refrigerator, and then they may frame it. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've been doing this the whole time. I think you can probably see my hand over here. Yeah, it's going up. My fingers are pushing the website up and down. And boom, and boom. Okay, here we go. Throwing out the top one, which is Karen Bender, Perfect Day. Throwing out Linda Schleitning, which is Love the Size of Paintings. And Jacqueline Browse gets Nice Creation. So Jacqueline, send me an email. You know how to reach me. Right here it is, roodoodles@gmail.com. Send me an email, and I'll send you this little painting. And I'm going to send, let's see, who won the first B? Because I promised this with the B. Messing up your good clothes since 1987. And I've got another little sticker in here for you, Jacqueline, if you don't have it, and it's called Create, and it's from Cheap Joe's also. So those are going to come to you too if you'll send me an email at that. Thanks for being on the show today. Thanks for letting me take up your time. I want to go back and read through some of these comments this morning, and if I can answer them, I will. And we'll go from there. Okay, Rabbit Trail Gallery. Yep, we should do that. And there's times that bunny goes down the bunny trail. Throw that thing away. Okay. All right, I got to go. Not really, but I do. I got to go make some more tea, and I got to go get busy and clean up my office. And maybe next week I'll show you some of the crazy things I bought at Cheap Joe's. I just bought a couple new pieces of paper that I was running out of, and I hadn't been to Cheap Joe's in months and months and months. Long, long, long before Christmas. Blessings to you all. Stay in touch. Hurry, rush, be quick, but don't hurry is what I was trying to say. Be quick, but don't hurry. And I'll see you next time right here on Roodoodles Live. Hey, let's go out on a different instrument today.